Welcome to Savvy Business, Life Unscripted with your host, Christina Rivera, where our guests share their wisdom and valuable business tips, empowering our audience to expand their personal potential.
Hi, Kimberley Brown. Welcome to Savvy Broadcasting, Life Unscripted. I'm so grateful to have you here today. You're going to share an important topic that is just perfect to get us into the new year, and that is how to eliminate dreadful PR. For one, we're going to get started with let me just tell the audience, you've sent some phenomenal guests our way that have shared wonderful wisdom with our Savvy audience over the years, and now you're here to share some wonderful savvy tips for PR with our audience. Welcome to Savvy.
Absolutely, Christina. Thank you so much. I think now more than ever, small businesses, entrepreneurs, and startups need really good information on how to do PR and publicity the right way, especially in this current environment. And believe it or not, I'm here to give them hope.
You bet. I know you are. And you know, it's interesting. We talked just before the interview how often people have the wrong idea of what is PR. They'll think PR is you coming in and doing my sales or going out there and doing all my social media. But PR really is just getting out your message to your prospective clients. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So it's getting it out there, but here's the trick, because you're right. Some people, when they ask for PR, they're really looking for sales, or they ask for PR and they're really looking for marketing and advertising. But PR at its heart and soul is a way for you to package and deliberately get out your message to your target audience via news outlets that includes TV, radio, broadcast, digital. It has to be media outlets, but do so in a way without directly promoting your products or services. That's the catch, because when you start directly promoting your products and services, that's considered to be advertising and marketing, not PR.
Yeah, now you've entered into the realm of sales, advertising, and that sort of thing. But what's great about this is, and this is what I love about Savvy and all the different wonderful shows that exist out there, is that there's a way for you to sell without selling, actually, and that's PR. In that, what I find from a lot of my guests that have come on the show is they will share a wonderful product, their wisdom, whatever it is, and I'm a sucker for a lot of this great content and wonderful stuff out there. I've become a client with a lot of my guests because of them so openly sharing what they have. And I think that's the key, openly sharing without feeling for the audience listening in that there's some strings attached at the end. Like, well, if you listen to my thing at the end of it, I'm going to tell you got to buy XYZ for like $2,000.
Christina, you hit the nail on the head. So one of the biggest mistakes and a big no-no for good PR is that you cannot come across as being overly salesy. When you reach out to reporters at the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Fast Company, Inc. magazine, if you're just directly selling your product or service, they're going to shuffle you over to the advertising department, which could cost $3, $5, $7K, to get an ad spot. Or they're just not going to return your call, quite honestly. Yeah. And so, but say, for instance, and let me give you guys an example. I had a client some years ago, they were selling mattresses, the big mattress craze of Tempur-Pedic mattresses and Sleep Better and Comfort Zone mattresses. That's a big trend now. But our strategy, and again, you got to have good strategy. Our strategy was not to go and pick up the phone with reporters and say, hey, we got a great mattress product to sell and it's, $5.99 a pop, right? That's very salesy. But what we can do is root what their product into some relevant trends and news stories that will still give them a voice with that audience. For example, we found one of the things that was trending, believe it or not, is that 30% of married couples don't sleep together because of their bed. Oh, wow. Now I have a news angle that allows my mattress product client to be able to be a subject matter expert on a very exciting topic, right? Yeah. And so they were able to also not only talk about that topic and how the discomfort of mattress is, driving many marriages to sleep in separate bedrooms, but hey, if you can find a great solution, let's bring couples back together. Now you have a news story, the reporter's interested. I believe we got USA Today on board with that angle. and the client is able to include a backlink back to their product, but in a way that was very clandestine, if for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And something I've seen even as a podcaster, and podcasting is really a media to be reckoned with. There's so many out there, and good, bad, and some really extraordinary. I would say I think we're pretty good here. But one thing I noticed that, thank you. One thing I've noticed is a lot of guests will even come to me and they'll just be like, oh, I've got this wonderful hair product. I'm like, okay, what does that do for my business audience? Because that's who we serve. Mm-hmm. We serve business owners. And we had a woman who started her product from nothing, working in a tech company, from nothing to something in a year. And here's how I did it, and I can show your business audience. Now, that's something we can run with. And so that's straight to your point. But, with her sharing just her gifts and her wisdom on growing her business for something too extraordinary in a year, had me going, I want some of that hair product. Thank you very much. But it's a thing that really makes people attracted to what you have to offer.
You are spot on, Christina. There is an art and science to PR. I even have some entrepreneurs approach me and they say, well, I'll just do my own PR. You don't have a discipline. You don't have a degree in this area. You don't have the strategies, and then go for it. And then it crashes and burns. I'm like, y'all, we actually do get degrees in this area. It's not something you just dive into without strategy. So my next biggest advice for entrepreneurs is never hire a PR consultant or a firm that is not going to give you strategy. You need strategy. You need to understand what's trending. You need to understand what your competitors are saying in the media, and you need to know what lane you need to play in so that PR and reporters will want to interview you or pick up the phone with you. So you got to have good strategy that's going to make your voice a part of the conversation that will in turn help you to drive sales.
Well, you said something very important right there, which was what lane are you in and where are you playing? What is your strategy? And I love you going there because one thing I've noticed from some people, I do my own PR. In fact, I do my own marketing, my own sales. And what you look at when you see their messaging is it's really all over the place. You don't really know what they do or how they help their clients. And that's where the professional comes in. So, and then this is also kind of wraps into the branding. How do you portray yourself out in media, in public, social media? It just presents yourself in such a way that when, say, a reporter or anyone looks at you, you're like, I have no idea what you're all about. And for myself, if someone sends me something, I go first to all their social media, get a presence of who I'm dealing with. And if I feel kind of ickiness about them, I just go the other way. And they might have something wonderful to offer, but I'm not getting that from what's presented.
Makes perfect sense. No, messaging and branding, it's critical in the small business space. And like I said, PR, marketing, advertising, we all play together. We're one big happy family, but we do have very distinct disciplines and roles. And the role of any good PR professional is to help you get placements in those Inc. magazines, those fast companies, those publications that you long for that can give you free publicity, right? You don't have to pay $5K or $10K to get the coverage, but it's still going to give you a voice and help you move that needle. Now, that brings me to my second point, Christina. A lot of people, one of the biggest myths about PR is that all you need to do is do a press release. I hate to pull the cover off the proverbial, tear down the robe off of the bed and kind of show the ugliness there. But guys, believe it or not, a press release just does not work. What a press release can do for you is you can release it out on the wire and you can get some SEO value. They're great for that. But a press release is not necessarily going to get you an interview on ABC News. It's not going to get you on 60 Minutes. That requires a good publicist, a good PR professional, not only with the right contacts, but with the right strategies to get you through the door. Because believe it or not, we have to make sure we respect the relationships we have with the New York Times, the Inc. magazines, et cetera. And we violate those relationships. We can not only get your brand in trouble, we can get in trouble as well.
Yeah, that is really, really a great point. And I recall many years ago, there was a wonderful client that was going to come on our show, and he had put a press release that he was working with a new company in his industry, and reading his press release was awesome because we thought, hey, they have a vested interest in our client they could be a sponsor of ours. So we ended up connecting with them because of that press release and hence getting a sponsor. But see, that's where it came in handy indirectly, actually helping us, but indirectly helping the client. But it wasn't the fact that that's why he got the spot with us. He got the spot because he had wonderful content. And then that was the secondary. So yeah, so that's it. And you mentioned something earlier, how important it is to come to the table with something to offer, whatever media you're going to. You have to come to the table with something that they need, whether it's some trending that's out there that can serve their audience, not just, oh, I have a wonderful hair product and here, let me tell you all about it, because there's like a million of them out there. What do you have right now that they're working on that is relevant to their listeners or viewers that you can bring to the table?
Right. PR, we have to be good at selling good stories and good story angles, not necessarily your product or service. Product and service promotion and brand promotion works if you're really, really famous. Now, I've done a lot of work on the celebrity side of the house. I've even done interviews. I facilitated interviews with Mark Cuban, some folks at the Shark Tank. I've done some work with Robin Gibbons. So when you bring a celebrity brand to the table, now, okay, the media comes running. That's a little bit of a different game plan, right? But if you're a startup, you're unknown, you don't have a brand, then you have to use other strategies. You can still get in big tiers. I have gotten startups in big tiers historically throughout my career, but using the right strategy. And so it is really, really, really critical that PR, that small businesses understand what PR is, who to partner with, and also recognize that you don't have to hire a big PR agency to get it done right. I have clients call me all the time. They're running saying, hey, I hired this big agency. I paid X amount of $1,000. They got us no coverage at all. Can you help me? And so it's not about big brand. It's about big strategy and big expertise. And you'll see me hammer strategy all day long, because if you just start going willy-nilly out there and trying to reach out to the press and you don't have a solid story to tell, they're not going to call you back.
Yeah, that is a good point there. You also mentioned the fact that people spend a lot of money in places where they don't get what they paid for or anything. And that happened for me with writing of my book. I was looking for people to help me get that out there for over, 6-7 years, and I was not having good feedback. And wow. I think it's very important, whether you're looking for a PR agency or whatever, that you look at their background and what have they done for their clients. Look at, reviews and positive feedback that they've actually created results. Because sometimes I've gone off of, they sound really good. They sound like they know what they're talking about. But what results have they created for their clients?
Christina, I cannot tell you how many PR reps I know that get hired just because of the likability factor. Guys, it's what we do. We're in PR. We're designed to make you fall in love with us, right? But that doesn't mean we can do the job or do it right. So always, you bring up a great point that I want to emphasize for all business owners and entrepreneurs. Before you hire any consultant, before you hire any organization, you always want to not only check references, but ask for their writing samples and ask for their PR results. I should be able to provide you with status reports with backlinks showing all of the articles that I've been able to successfully place for clients. You should be able to see a track record of top tiers, as well as solid mid and small tiers. We don't want to overlook those because they bring something important to the party as well. But you should see results. Don't just hire us for our good looks, guys, and don't just hire us because we sound really sweet and we just have great likability. We're PR people, right? That's what we do. We can win you over, but you gotta make sure you do. I cannot tell you how many times reps get hired, PR reps get hired just because they're so likable, and then you get behind the scenes, and before you know it, they've blown up the spot. Yeah.
And how many times have I heard, well, this marketing person didn't work or PR doesn't work? It's not that it didn't work. It's just that you didn't have the right people. Now, what would you tell someone, they're really new to the idea of public relations? What is the most important thing that businesses need to know or remember when thinking about public relations?
So the most important thing to remember is, one, be ready to take sound counsel and advice. So as a good PR rep, now some, play some shady games out there, but as a good PR rep, a good one will be willing to tell you what's newsworthy, what is not newsworthy, what will work and what won't work. I'm not just here to spend my clients' dollars just to get paid, okay? I just can't, hey, I can take on this project and we just go willy-nilly and I run up the bills and no results. I have to be honest with clients and say, look, this is not newsworthy at this time. As much as I want to work with you, as much as I want to take on this project, it's not going to work. Or I have to give wise counsel to say it will work, but given the current climate that we're dealing with, let's launch this next month instead of this month. So you want someone that's going to give you wise counsel, and CEOs and entrepreneurs, be ready to take that counsel, because I know we're close to our babies, we're close to our businesses, we're close to our projects, but that's why you want a good objective PR professional that's going to give you wise counsel. Again, they're going to give you strategy, and that you're going to see clearly the accountability steps as we work together, where you're going to see movement in the media and in the press. It should not take 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks and you have not seen results. If you have not seen results with your agency within a 2 to 4 week time period post strategy, again, you got to get through strategy, then you may not be working with the right person.
That is a really good point. I love that you mentioned that, to really go through all those steps. So you get the right people in place. And you said something interesting, that it might not be that the story isn't right, but maybe the angle has to be changed a bit to work best for the media outlets, and to be open to that criticism that, okay, we can go at it, but we're in COVID time right now, so let's just switch this up so people can take it, understand it, and use what you have to give the public.
You are spot on. And let me tell you guys a quick secret. Many people, when they hire PR reps, they always say, hey, I want to hire someone that has good contacts. They'll use the likability factor. And as long as she says she has good contacts, I'll hire them, right? Yeah. Well, most PR people who have been in the game for a while, let me say that, I don't know about the newbies, but the ones who have been in the game for a while, we have contacts, right? We have contacts. It's not all about contacts. It is about strategy, because my strategy will take you where contacts may or may not, okay? Even with our contacts, the fast company contact that I have right now may not be interested in your particular product, service, or story angle right now, okay? So, but if I have good strategy, and I'll give you an example. I was doing a project. I'd never worked in this particular subject matter before, but I said, you know what? I know PR, I know strategy. Let me put some trends around this and let's go for strategy. And 2 weeks after strategy, we had her an appointment with 60 Minutes. Nice. Strategy will take you where contacts are somewhat limiting. Yes, we need our contacts. Yes, we have to even follow their rules, because they have to sell it in with their editors and get approval. We just can't bring garbage to our contacts, right? Because we have to manage those. Exactly. We still have to manage those relationships the right way. But I'm telling you, you get someone who can take your product and service and put strategy and messaging and trends and competitive advantages around that, it will take you much further than just someone that has the Rolodex.
Wow, this has been truly phenomenal and inspirational, and a lot of great information for our savvy audience. I don't want us to leave without people finding out how they can find out more about you, work with you. How can they do that?
Absolutely. So you guys can visit me at my website, which is coreinsights360.com. That's COR Insights with an S, the number 360.com, or you can actually call me at 678-829-9075. Again, that's 678-829-9075. I would welcome the opportunity to set up a free intro call to delve into a little bit more specific to your business, give you a free coaching session, and we can go from there to see if I'm a fit for you. And I love the opportunity to help small businesses. Even though I've worked with the Mark Cubans and the Robin Givens of the world, my biggest success comes when I can take a brand that maybe not as well known as some of those those brands and still get them in the same places where I've taken some of the greats. So I'm here to help you guys out.
Oh, this is awesome. Thank you, Kimberly. I have to thank you so much today for coming to Savvy Broadcasting to share your great wisdom. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Christina. Thank you so much. And I wish you and all those entrepreneurs out there great business success in this season.
You betcha. Take care.
If you like this episode, please share. To hear more Savvy episodes and Savvy Biz tips, go to lifeunscriptedradio.com. To become a guest or participate in paid sponsorship, email us at Christina@lifeunscriptedradio.com.